We're back.
We are back. The Afro Chin review is back.
Yeah. For
We
those
here
who
with
just
Mr.
joined in, if
Mr.
you're now
Valley.
tuning in, Joseph Ali, documentary director, 1970s Black Power Revolution.
Let the truth be told.
Let the truth be told.
So I was saying just now, I don't agree with that. The idea behind a smooth transition, and I'm gonna tell you why. I listen to a lot of people like Malcolm X and them, right? And something Malcolm X says stick with me really is now. We're the only people on this planet that when it's time for we to stand up, that is tell we be peaceful. No other people on this planet that is tell or is listen to anybody else when they're fighting for the rights or betterment or to even save themselves, that is tell them be peaceful. Nobody else listen. If you do a white nation something and the white nation could prove is you, they're not trying to have dialogue. That's facts, that's history. I'm not suggesting violence in any way. I'm just saying that, to me, that saying that today is an excuse for the time. I honestly think Dr. Eric Williamson, all of them know exactly what I was doing. He was intelligent men. I listen to people I consider great historians, one of them being Dr. John Henry Clark. And the way he rated Eric Williams before he turned a politician, you're like, you wouldn't believe he's a Trinidadian. This man, Dr. John Henry Clark.
He was brighter than Ms. Mao Zedong, the Chinese man.
And them is the people and them that I would...
Comparatively.
Right.
But
Dr. John Henry
intelligent
Clark
man anyway,
is one of the people that shaped Black African history in the last 50 years because of what they do. Went and do research, and then it became popular for them to give lectures all over black communities in America, and it reached us something. And when you hear Dr. John Henry Clark talk about Eric Williams, the historian, you know that there is somebody totally different
to the
who became a politician, right? That smooth transition, let me tell you why one of the reasons it don't make no sense. If them same companies that we looking to have smooth transition with, not satisfied with certain things, they'll just pack up and leave. They wouldn't care about a smooth transition.
Yeah.
Business.
It's business.
But
Then they call it that.
Right.
And they use it as a justification
Exactly.
for the decision.
But once you're not making profits.
Yeah, they're right out.
So when I look at the next one, now the people wasn't making any profit. You
We
understand?
were not profiting from
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
So to say you wanted to do certain things to have a smooth transition, I don't agree to that at all. I for the better part of me, I know that the people in authority at the time knew exactly what was going on. They understood to a great deal the mindset of the people. They tried to use intimidation and fear via the police service to try and stop what was happening. And that is why one of the things I always want to do is to give thanks to them elders and them, the ones that transition and the ones that still here. Because we only talk a certain kind of talk today. But them people in that time live it.
Yeah.
Some of these names on these jerseys. You know, I listened to Dr. Springer talk. I had to call her Dr. Springer, pull into Springer. You know, that she reciting a poem and doing a little kind of monologue on where's the promenade today, and the police come for she. And that's just to show you why I think the people that in supposed authority understood exactly what it was doing. This is a woman doing a
Reciting
poem
poetry.
scale, we call a little skit and everything. And the police come for she.
I know it's the hardest part of that whole thing for me to swallow. The same thing that happening today. The police officers at the point in time weren't white.
No.
They weren't Indian,
No.
right? They were
Majority
black.
of the police force was African.
Was Africans.
Right.
And them was holding down black people and shaving off their head, taking their sapat, stripping them of their dashikis, versus seeing what is was taking place. And that is, I think, one of the most hurtful parts about being a black man. Not understanding the fact that you have been programmed to do certain things
Against your own self.
against your own self. And the government at the time was supposedly the representation of us.
Supposedly.
Right?
And they did research on that. They showed that even in the States that some of the black police officers, they were more inclined to be aggressive to
Their
their
own.
own.
yeah, the research.
But we still
research
seeing it
shows that-
today. We still
But we
seeing it.
two things I want to add to that. One of them is because we mentioned the name, but saying that way just say there also shows the important role that Rafik Shah
Played in.
played in what we call the 1970 Black Power Revolution. And that decision, because that's the next aspect of it. I was fortunate to hear some of it from his own mouth in 2018 when they were having the commemoration of the 1917 in April. And I heard him and another soldier and Winston Sweet, Dr. Winston Sweet. I was fortunate to be in an event where they was talking, and that was a big thing. Access today, how much soldiers went on the fire order like that today, to not run into what is called the ghetto and rough up the owners. You was now saying how much soldiers today have the
brass.
and that mental too to understand and accept the consequences beforehand of not doing that, and then inciting others to not do it as well. You know, so Rafik Shah, yeah.
Kudos, bro.
Yeah.
Kudos. So I mean, I can't wait to watch this documentary.
Yeah.
Joseph, I would like you to enlighten the people on how to acquire, how to get their hands on your documentary. I know it will be difficult, but we're not in this for free, right? And our one of our purposes on this show is to continue to support our people and enrich and empower.
And
Not-
promote. Yeah.
But also to help us achieve economic power, right? So tell the people how to get
Well,
your
of course,
documentary. You could get them the contact
yeah,
information.
you can contact me, Joseph Valley, at 750-5651. That is 750-5651, international 1-868.
Yeah.
750-5651.
Right.
And of course, you can email me at j.angelo.productions@gmail.com. That
Nice.
is j.angelo.productions@gmail.com. Once you contact me,
We'll make arrangements.
yeah, we make arrangements and you can
So
get
they
your
get
video
it
to download.
digitally?
Yeah, you get it to download.
Any hard copies?
No, not right now.
Not
no
right
hard copies right now. You'll get soft copy.
So,
But
okay.
we're moving away from that anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's becoming increasingly difficult.
You know, I have a special love for
DVDs.
DVDs.
Yeah, it's a DVD box.
Yeah. What I decided to do, and I already bought the DVD cases a while back.
Right.
To have a special for January production anniversary, to have a CD set, CD and DVD, so you'll get part
A
one,
box
part
set.
yeah, you get a box set and you get soundtracks and special interviews and behind the scenes, that kind of
Alright.
thing. So you get a special
Yeah, but when you're ready, that's I take
yeah,
it.
you get a special box set for D'Angelo production anniversary or the anniversary of the document, the part one that was completed in 2012.
Right.
Right, and so you might have a 10-year anniversary for the part one,
Part one, right.
and you're the part two, and you have a nice little box set. But I want to do something special.
Right. How far apart were the two? The two films?
2 years, 2 years.
Okay. So
Yeah.
2012 and 14.
Yeah, in
So
2014.
when you completed part one, the editing and the preparation and it's ready, you had already known you wanted to do a part two?
Well, actually, the content was like 6-7 hours of content that
So you had to.
I
Okay.
kind of compress and tell the story in hour 1.5 and hour 1.5, to have two DVDs.
Okay.
Right, so I mean, just had a lot of content,
Right.
a lot of content there, and so I did the part one, and concentrated on that, and look at from emancipation to the February 26th uprising, and then the part two from February 26th to April 21st. Mutiny, but I went beyond the mutiny because talk about the court case and when they were going to court and so on.
Right.
And I must say that my documentaries recently New York University is part of the catalog, right? Yeah, New York University. Also, several other universities, documentaries are part of their cultural and Caribbean studies. One professor told me, she said, Mr. Bali, before they come to class, for certain classes, they have to watch your documentary first before they come to class so that we could have a discussion. So the documentaries are at a lot of universities. And again, recently, New York University is part of New York University archives. Not archives, so we catalog for their lecturers and their students.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened with you?
I know when I ask you, but
That way one ask,
even broader than UWI, because you said you showed in UWI.
Right.
Yeah,
Has the Ministry of Education approached you at all on this, or have you approached the Ministry of Education?
Right, okay. So right now I sold copies of the documentary to the library at the University of the West Indies.
Right.
Right. So I know they have copies at the library if you want to. If you are doing research and you ask for it, you will get it there.
But it's not part and parcel of this curriculum in terms of them Caribbean history.
I'm not sure.
Trinidad history.
I can't say. I can't say.
Okay.
Well, you can't say that in Trinidad, and you just tell me.
New York University.
New York University have it as.
But it's part of the catalog because for the Caribbean studies. Right?
But
I'm not sure about the curriculum at the University of the West Indies, so I can't
No, but I mean,
something I'm not sure about.
I know we get that.
Yeah.
We get that. But the issue we having is that how is it that everybody on the outside could see the value of these things?
That's how it is.
That is absurd.
But I find that so hard to accept. I really, really find that so hard to accept. This was a pivotal, and that's why I keep asking people, when I tell them, I am not a Trinidadian. I am an African born in the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I say, okay, what does it mean to be a Trinidadian? Because this is a part of our history that changed our landscape for the better. It was one of the times where African and East Indians
Came
didn't
together.
see themselves as,
Different.
you know? I mean, look at the nonsense we have going on in the political arena when it comes to them now, between the two set of supporters and things, you know? This period of time bridged that.
Actually, during the 1970s, they had the March to Caroni.
Right.
And they had while they were marching to Caroni, they had the sign Indian and Africans
Unite, yeah.
Right, and the Caroni workers, they were supposed to march into Port of Spain. And I'm sure if you guess on what day, that will be the day they call the state of emergency. That was the day that the Caroni workers, they were supposed to march into Port of Spain to show support to the brothers and sisters in Port of Spain. Right? So it was a coming together of the people were together. Unity.
Yeah.
Right, understanding of cultures, because I mean I did different documentaries. One of the documentaries I did, one of the first documentaries I worked on was traditional Hindu wedding in Trinidad and Tobago. And working on that documentary, I did it with two other persons at the time, and you get an understanding of different culture, for different culture. So when the pundit was explaining different things and why we do this and why we do that, and this is how it is, then now you get to understand the culture and understand why things are being done, right? And in the same way, if I do a documentary on the Orisha tradition, right, which I got a lot of support when I was working on this documentary from the Orisha community, you would understand the culture, right, or some other culture as the case may be, but the documentary helps to bridge a gap.
Right.
It helps to bring people to educate and bring people together. Right? It helps to bring people together, and that is so important. Right? So important to document culture, to document history, so that we will not have misunderstanding of culture, because most of the time you observe, you don't understand, and you speculate.
Yes.
Right?
And you assume.
And you assume, which is not good.
That's right.
I think that is one of the reasons why there are certain things they don't teach. You needed to stay in a constant state of speculation and not knowing. All right?
Ignorance.
ignorance, right? Because I am an Orisha devotee, and in speaking to one or two elders within the Orisha community, a lot of them were involved, but plenty of it was behind the scenes. You know, and that's the next aspect of 1970 that we have to explore. There are some people that did a lot of work.
Is that a cultural explosion?
Right, yes, yes, right, that never really make it to the forefront, but the work cannot be denied. You know, in today's world, I think we're ready for it. I think we don't even realize we're ready for it, but I think we're ready for that information. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. You know, I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. 5 years of work, boy. 5 years of stress and work and contacting archives all over the world to get information and Catholic news. I know, just want to mention Catholic news, Lloyd Best Institute, OWTU, Express, Vanguard newspaper. They got a lot of support, I must say, from different quarters in Trinidad and Tobago. Right, I got a lot of support.
We're glad to hear that.
Well, brother, you leave me feeling that kind of way.
Well,
I'm excited, one, to go back and look at the documentary, well, the two parts, with my family and let them, you know, taking the information. But we want to say a heartfelt thank you for coming.
Yeah.
We had to bring you back now because all them things we're talking about it, we had to have that. You know what I mean? So, you know, unfortunately, we also want to pay a little tribute to the great Leroy Clark, Chief Leroy Clark.
Chief of a tribe of one.
Yeah, Chief of a tribe of one.
I am honored to say that I knew, well, he's a great ancestor now, Chief Leroy Clark, since I was a child, because him and my grandfather were artists together, and my grandfather being older than them, Louis Lovelace being older than them, they looked up to him. And I always remember my big image of Leroy Clark, Chief Leroy Clark, is coming home one day from school in 1997, which was the year my grandfather did his last exhibition. And all the paintings line off in the yard. And Chief Leroy Clark pointing out painting and calling price, because everybody used to credit my grandfather for selling the paint. He works so cheap. And Chief saying 20,000, 10,000, and I see my grandfather going so. Because he's not accustomed charging them prices. When my grandfather was in the hospital, we there and we trying to take a Chief come in, when they come out, pull them blinds. When we come back out, everything that grandpa didn't want to do, when the blinds open back, was done. He was a giant of a man, and then recently, I get to interact with him again between, like we say, 2018 and 20 and last year. Get to interact with him. Proud that I have some signed pieces. Great man. I know he will be celebrated continuously for some of his works. Because just like how you have worked all New York and thing, he's one of them elders and them that revered outside of this country. You know, he stood up, he didn't take much BS, and a lot of people didn't like him for that. But he was an intellect, a genius.
Well,
we
you
want
know,
to thank him for his work,
We want to
show some
work from
because
him.
Gael have
the information.
Gael have an interview and other things with him. So
the archives.
They are in the archives.
Right? So folks, kings and queens, empresses and emperors, we want to say, what's the word for leaving?
Odabo. Well, as our Richard devotee, I'll probably say Odabo. Right. Again, Mr. Valley, I want to thank you.
Yeah, brother.
You know, thank you. Keep it up. And as Karen was saying, we will have you back again at your convenience to discuss even more things. So, my brother, goodness. So, let me safe. And we will see you again soon.
All right. Pleasure being here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.